Yo guys, what's up? Dean here for Marijuana SA, and today we are at NEOPHARM Cannabis Cultivation Facility in the Cape Winelands. This is an incredibly high-tech facility that we're going to take you through. We're going to see all of the parts that go into cultivating the crop here and all of the extras that also go into running a facility of scale. So follow us through this awesome high-tech facility called NEOPHARM. On our way into the grow, but obviously PPE is a big part of keeping the crop safe and sound. So we are booting up full PPE suits and we'll be heading in. I'm here with Karl, the head of production here at NEOPHARM, and I just wanted to ask quickly, so these suits, what are you protecting the crop from with these suits, or the main idea? What are you trying to keep out?
It's personal protective equipment just to keep any pathogens off, possible, or any contaminants that could have come in from clothing or hands or shoes, etc. So everything that's used in the facility stays in the facility, and it's just a physical barrier protection from pathogens.
And that's combined, obviously, part of a medical regulation, obviously to get, there's compliance, but also as a grower, I mean, if your plants get something from the outside, that could compromise an entire crop.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
I'm responsible for that. So, yeah.
Suit up, boys. Guys, we are in one of the first sections of the NEOPHARM facility. I'm here with Karl. He's going to tell us where we are right now and what they're preparing to do in this room.
So we'll be harvesting tomorrow. This is our trimming room where we will be hand trimming our dry product. There'll be 30 women in here all trimming with a trim lead in the top corner, and I'll be standing in when I can, trimming, and a few other people to assist. And for our first harvest, we're using 30 trimmers, and I'm hoping to get the task done in 28 days.
Okay.
And then on our consecutive harvest, because it's all unskilled workers currently, so
probably first time trimmers, so they're going to have to get up to speed very quickly.
Every single one.
I've been noticing in basically every single room they have these tags and like a stack of paperwork. You want to just give us a little insight on how come every room's got these tags in?
These are log tags. They give us a reading for the climate parameters over a period of time.
And that's obviously, you've got to, with a sensitive crop like this, and obviously going for the medical grade, if that's out, these are all going to be submitted for your approvals and everything like that.
We use this data to validate our processing rooms, to basically to prove to someone that it is what you say it is.
Yeah, medical standard and like hygienic, and it's been through all the right conditions and environments. Brilliant. What's the gauge?
That's
the pressure.
A pressure reading in the room, exactly.
So in the room?
Okay. Positive or negative. So some rooms are assigned positive pressure, some rooms are assigned negative pressure depending on the requirement.
Okay.
Current culture, nutrients, and a few other bits.
Yes. Getting excited. We're just about to make it into the greenhouse. We've seen a lot of the lead up to it, so I can't wait to get a tour with Karl through the actual production facility and to see this very high-tech operation at NEOPHARM. How's the smell? It's smelling, as you can tell, we're getting closer and closer, as the smell only really hit us when we entered through sort of the airlock into the space, but I think we're just about to make it to the sauce.
Welcome to the NEOPHARM greenhouse. We're doing a monocrop of Black Cherry Punch number 2 by In-House Genetics.
This here is called Epicenter 1, all the way down to Epicenter 9. Each epicenter has 48 pods each side. 48, 48, 48, 48. So 48 by 9, you get 432 plants on the entire procedure going forward. And this is all natural. There's no pesticides, there's nothing in this facility. This is completely dosed by nutrients coming into here. It flows into one system going forward, and the pods that we got are from Colorado in America. So we flew over there and we looked at their system and we brought it over here.
Goodness, it's world class.
Yes, 110%.
Guys, as you can see here, we're obviously dealing with a deep water culture system, so that's obviously the plants their roots are suspended in the water and the solution of nutrients. There's no soil or medium like that. And you can see the length of just piping going all the way down to there. And you obviously have intake, outtake, so the water's got to keep moving. You can't let that water sit and stagnate. So yeah, you know, you've got these pipes, then it goes into each different channel. And each channel, I believe there's about 9 different rows, double-sided. And then it feeds into these pots over here. And each pot obviously has a plant, and each plant gets the nutrients, and if they want to add a little bit more nitrogen or, you know, potassium or this, they just tweak a little switch, and boom, it just feeds through every single plant in the exact same dose. There's no pesticides here, no sort of any sprays or anything like that. It's all natural, and yeah, that's obviously what you've got to do to get into the medical realm.
Finally made it here with Karl into the facility, and I'm not going to lie, it is highly impressive. Karl's just going to tell us a little bit about what we are experiencing over here. So Karl, tell us a little bit about the cultivation method that you're using here in the facility.
So here we're growing using supplementary LED lighting, using ENERGYWISE proudly South African lights, and using sunlight, which is very high here. We peak at around 2,800 UMOLs, I've read on some days.
Wow.
So it's quite a unique grow environment. All the parameters are controlled via PLC. We're growing in current culture buckets, using current culture solution nutrients, and yeah, this is the first harvest here.
So guys, very, very exciting to see. So basically, as Karl was saying, this is a full deep water culture facility. I believe it's the only deep water culture facility in Africa?
Quite possibly, eh?
Definitely in South Africa though.
Yes.
Okay.
Licensed, and yes, I think it is.
Yeah, licensed, legal. Okay, and also I'm going to show you guys a little bit sort of behind the scenes, but basically you've got roller benches, and then there's how many buckets are you running per bench and how many plants are you running per bench?
There's 48 plants per roller bench, which Zephyr Farms made for us. Yeah, so there's 432 total plants each. So it's divided into 9 epicenters, which are each I'm able to control and give them the nutrient specific for a strain. Currently we're doing a monocrop, but it does have the capability to control each epicenter individually to cater for different strains' needs.
And did you do the exact same thing with each, seeing it's your first crop here, did you do the exact same thing with each table, or did you do a little bit of experimentation to see what's going to come out best?
I did. I played with the EC a bit because, okay, look, it's the first grow here, so I didn't get too wild. I didn't want to burn the plants, and I didn't want to underfeed them either, so I chose earmarked 3 epicenters, and I pushed them to slightly higher ECs, and they've done really well, so I'm going to be slowly optimizing the production cycle.
And for the next harvest, are you going to be doing the same genetic, or are you going to be doing a different genetic?
We're doing the same genetic. It's quite an exercise to do all the import permits and stability tests and certificates of analysis. So we're sticking to one strain because of the market demands that are post-processing that are required. So we're sticking to keep it simple, and once we get some market recognition and some market trust in that, we might cater for new strains.
Yeah, guys, a lot of money goes into all the testing and obviously to getting the product to be certified. So it's not just the facility, the end product's going to go through all of the testing. So that's why for a monocrop it makes more sense, especially when you're in the earlier phases of the facility's life. Tell me a little bit about the lights that you're using. I see you're using the Earth range from ENERGYWISE Systems, and also see that since we've entered into the facility, they've actually gone from being on to, now that the sun's sort of peaking a little bit, to themselves turning off. Can you tell us about kind of the lighting system and the way that it's functioning in this greenhouse?
Yes, sure. The greenhouse is divided into 3 segments, each with their own quantum sensor. I then also have a quantum sensor, that vertical pole going down there in the canopy. So I get 4 ppfd readings over the whole greenhouse. The set points are then set so that if the sun is not providing a certain ppfd, then the lights will kick in. These lights can give me 450 U-moles at 0.5 meters from the luminaire. So anything extra will be supplemented by the sun. And also when we receive small plants, like now, as our processing facility is not completely finished yet, it's a major help, because I can also cater for smaller plants without exposing them to 2,800 U-moles.
So you can decide, okay, whatever stage you're in, this is the kind of lighting I want to get, and all the controls in here and the different testing points allow you to achieve the different ppfd readings, the different U-moles per different stage in the plant's life. And then also a little bit about the ceiling. I see that it's obviously open now, but I see that there's some blackout curtains above us. Can you tell us a little bit more about the way that the greenhouse functions as a whole?
Yes, the VegTech did our blackout curtain. It's also set to temperature, so if it exceeds a certain temperature, the blackout curtain will close. And it's also set to time, so depending on what cycle it is, if it's veg or flower. There's 0 lights in here with the curtains closed. The quantum sensors read nothing.
Yeah, and guys, we're in well, we're not even quite in flowering season in South Africa yet. So this crop's obviously flowered through sort of the peak of our summer, and you can see that they've achieved they've achieved the flowering period. So even though it's the middle of summer and in a greenhouse, a crop was still being able, because obviously for those who don't know, it's a 12-12 cycle for flower. So basically the crop was still being able to be achieved in the middle of summer in South Africa.
We had a heat wave last weekend, 41 degrees Celsius. I managed to keep it under 29 in here.
Wow, okay, incredible.
I don't know if you guys can see behind me, so there's somewhat of a cloud just passing over at the moment, and we're obviously in the shadow. The second that cloud, you could feel it, the heat drops slightly for a second or two, and then instantly you can see the lights incrementally increasing their brightness. That basically means that the plants are getting a consistent shower of light. It doesn't matter what time of the day, it doesn't matter if there's sun, rain, clouds, it's going to automatically adapt. Obviously as the shade comes over, the temp drops, but the lights turn on, the lights have their own temperature, obviously they heat up a little bit, that brings the temperature back to normal. And yeah, it's constantly, I mean, since we've been here on, off, on, not on, off, but like dims down, dims up, so it's like constantly that wave. You know, it's not like this, the plants are getting this constant rain of light. So yeah, that's really, really interesting. A lot of tech in that, think about it. Notice every single plant has a tag on it. What are those tags for?
We've got a system that tracks our plants' movement. So when they enter the facility through to when they exit the facility, from clone to bag product.
And that helps, that's obviously a compliance thing, but does that ever help on like the growing frontier, or is that purely compliance?
Yes, it's nice to keep track of all your materials that you're using and to keep your MSDS files and your certificates of analysis all together in one place, and all your vendors and suppliers and things like that. Yeah.
And I suppose you would have, so if you listed, so when you get that initial clone, you log the strain, the date it comes into the facility, I suppose the age of the plant, or you know, the source of it, where it's come from.
Yeah, it goes through quarantine, where I give it a PQI, plant quality index, and then we accept it into the facility after it passes that.
Yeah, that test, brilliant. Just while I grabbed a moment, I of course want to express our thanks to NEOPHARM here in the Cape Winelands for letting us come and do this tour. It means the world to us to have this sort of content and to be able to give you guys at home, the viewers, the insight into what goes into a medical licensed facility. So guys watching at home, make sure to check out obviously some of the info below. There's some more details there. Make sure to like and subscribe.
So here we have our reverse osmosis machine, and it cleans up our borehole water. So we have 2 boreholes on the farm, and the water comes through activated glass filter, 2 activated glass filters, and then through a number of membranes, and it then comes out the other side between 8 and 12 microsiemens per square centimeter on average.
So that's some super clean water.
Yeah.
And how many liters a day do you think your plants are drinking over there?
A day they're drinking now at week 6 was quite interesting to see when they were basically peaking and they started swelling. Between all 432 plants, I worked it out, they were using up to 6 liters a day each.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Do that math, guys.
So it was 3,500 odd liters or so on a daily basis from about week 5 to about week 7.
Okay, wow, that's incredible. Yeah, big numbers on the water.
We are, I believe, in the drying room, and this is going to be mostly full by tomorrow. And this is designed to basically fit the whole crop, or is this going to be part of the...
This will be the whole crop, our whole 400 square greenhouse. Yeah.
And then it's going to stay here for how long, or have you got a special benchmark?
2 weeks, 55% humidity, around 20 degrees Celsius. We're hanging on plants all upside down, drying.
Brilliant, brilliant. And then as Dean mentioned earlier, it's going to go in for the dry trim just after that.
Dry trim will then, the growers and I will take the buds off the stalk, and that will be then taken through to the trim room in batches, where it will be processed and then off to quarantine and into our stock room.
Okay guys, so we've left the facility now, and as part of the security, I'm going to go through a search to make sure that I didn't nip one of those buds and put it in my pocket.
Off me, please. I'll be fine. Thank you, sir.
Excellent! Made the test!
You guys have obviously seen all the pipes, but there's, you want to just give us a rundown of this, the brains, I suppose?
Yeah, so here is all the environmental controls and parameters that's currently happening in the greenhouse. It's the RH, the U-moles per meter squared of light, the temperature, telling me whether blackout screens are opened or closed, whether the pumps are running, what mode we're in, flower or veg. So that's all the information that I need to see what's happening inside the greenhouse.
And I think it's also fed to a tablet as well, so you can access this day or night.
Yeah.
Probably a blessing and a curse lying in bed at home.
I've noticed up at 2 in the morning I see something's wrong.
Yeah, going to work.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, but that's the thing. That's
That's
where
right.
you're utilizing technology to protect, you know, your investment here in the crop. I mean,
that's to be done.
these kind of things, yeah, it's not just, okay, sure, it's a lot of regulation from, you know, Chopra and all of that, you know, you've got to have all your procedures, but if you don't have, a lot of these procedures are needed for cannabis growing.
Yeah, it's actually what is required, and it does seem very technical and long-winded, but when one looks at it and the nature of society, then one needs to actually protect what you're putting into your body at the end of the day.
Yeah, 100%. And then also, I mean, it's like, a lot of it looks maybe complicated, but I mean, it's just sometimes like as much as a red light if the pump goes off kind of thing, and it's like, if a pump goes off, it's a big deal.
Yes.
You know, depending on which pump.
We had some technical errors in the beginning because I was given the task of basically dialing in the system with plants in it because of our timeline, which I accepted and took to the challenge, but there were some technical errors in the beginning which affected certain parameters, but yeah, that's all part of dialing the system in.
And it's also like, this is not necessarily something you can go to university for, or just like, no one's walking around that knows these things. Like, you're probably one of a handful of people in the whole country that knows how to operate a system of this caliber.
Yeah, that's
yeah, to, you know,
everything I've known.
And
basically.
this whole system isn't a pre-built system. Like, this is, you're using this component from here, this system from there, this system, and you have to figure out how all of those work together.
It's all custom designed, yes, and our dosing system behind you is also a custom design. It's all digital dosing pumps which are fed. They pull a certain cubic centimeter of whatever you put on the delivery pipe and deliver it into the circulation system, which then fills up the bulk tank and the concentration tank, which I use for change outs and top ups.
And those all feed then into those, like those big black pipes along the side of the flowering room.
Yes.
Those obviously get fed.
Those big black pipes are for we have a refrigeration system. So there's a cooling coil that goes into each epicenter with a steel coil, and that circulates cold water so it can go in there after this. That keeps the, I can show you on the screen that keeps the epicenters at 80 degrees Celsius. So there you can see it's labeled as tank 1 to 9, and they're all sitting at, the ones on 19.1 and the rest are on 18.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Thanks so much, Karl, for giving us a tour of the NEOPHARM facility. It's been highly impressive, and we hopefully look forward to come back. Do you have anything final you'd like to say to our listeners?
Thank you. Thanks, guys, for coming here. Thank you for taking the time to come and get shown around the facility, and like and subscribe.
That's it, guys. Like and subscribe, and hopefully we'll be back at NEOPHARM in the future to show you more of what South Africa is doing to earmark ourselves as one of the premium cultivators of cannabis globally.
And that was that, guys. We are on our way out. Minds have been blown. And yeah, we're eternally grateful for this tour. NEOPHARM, thank you so much, and take you guys next week.